ॐ विश्वन्दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि योगीवयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो हरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Seventh mantra, page number 46. नान्तः प्रज्ञं न बहिष्प्रज्ञं नोभयतः प्रज्ञं न प्रज्ञानघनं न प्रज्ञं नाप्रज्ञम् अदृष्टम् अव्यवहार्यम् अग्राह्यमलक्षणम् अचिन्त्यमव्यपदेश्यम् एकात्मप्रत्ययसारं प्रपञ्चोपशमं शान्तं शिवमद्वैतं चतुर्थं मन्यन्ते स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः। Bhashyakara says on page 44, first line, Chaturtha Pāda वक्तव्यः कर्मप्राप्तः वक्तव्यः इति आह नान्तः प्रज्ञम् इत्यादिना सर्वशब्दप्रवृत्तिनिमित्तशून्यत्वात् तस्य शब्द अनभिधेयत्वम् इति विशेषप्रतिषेधेनैव च तुरीयं निर्दिदिक्षति। शून्यमेव हि तर्हि तन्न मिथ्याविकल्पस्य निमित्तत्व अनुपपत्तेः. So it is because the seventh mantra talks about the fourth pada, Turīya Pāda, and the three padas which have been discussed before. So this should be now the fourth pada. Three padas have been discussed between up to the sixth mantra, and all these three padas have been negated. Even though Atma, which is Chatushpad, then you cannot negate three padas. You should tell all four padas and all padas have equal reality. Now we are discussing the fourth pada, you negate three. Then how they are padas of Atma, basically. Right? And therefore this is a discussion. And you can see here in the seventh mantra, it is all negation. Nantah prajnam, na bahishprajnam, na. It's exactly like, the definition of Atma in the Vikalpa Upanishad. Asthulam, ananavu, arasvam, adirgham, achayam. So that A stands for na. Asthulam is na sthulam. Arasvam, na hrasvam. So same thing. Negation. So Bhashyakara explains that why it is like that in a Shruti, that by negation Atma is revealed. Why it is like that? There are two ways to reveal a thing. One is a vidhi-mukha, other is a niṣedha-mukha. Vidhi-mukha means directly saying that given thing is like this. So you reveal a thing by saying like that, not using no. The other method is definitely niṣedha-mukha, by way of negation. So definitely revealing vidhi-mukhena means revealing directly. and niṣedha-mukha means revealing indirectly. So that I gave you example also that these kind of things are there. Saying, right, that this particular in a group, when in a study group, in a Bhagavad Gita study group, we have, right, several Gita groups, and in a given group, a group leader says, pointing to a particular person, oh, this person studies a lot. Even we in between we meet also in the fortnight. He studies a lot. Now, when you say in presence of all, definitely you are revealing the person as a very studious person. It is vidhi-mukha. Directly you are telling about the person. But at the same time, you are talking about others also. Right? You are talking indirectly about others in a group. What? That they are not studying, that much seriously with a commitment. That also you are saying. So, it's a niṣedha. The other people are not so studious. That is implied. Same way here. So, niṣedha-mukha has been told. So, Brahman is revealed indirectly through the words, because direct definition of Brahman is not possible. Indirect definition is possible, suppose. Then Bhashyakara gives the example. Bhashyakara gives the reason. Sarva Shabda Pravritti Nimitta Shunyatvat. So, Sarva Shabda Pravritti. Shabda Pravritti means excess of the word. Verbal function. Shabda Pravritti. Excess of the word for a given thing. What kind of a thing? Which is recognized. A object which is recognized by in a fivefold manner. For those objects, recognized objects by fivefold manner, there is a verbal function. There is excess of the word. Word is used. What are those things? It's going to come later. But I told you last time. One is a rūḍhi, convention. Some place, person, etc., object, you give a name. Like this, my name, Muktātmananda. Yes, it is given by parents, etc., whatever. So that's how you recognize. You recognize this, right, as a Swami with a name. So you have you will utter a word, Swami Muktātmananda. So word has access now, because you recognize. In terms of what? In terms of just convention. That so and so person is called Swami Muktātmananda. Then the second one is a group, classification, jāti. Third is species, right? Any object will belong to one or other species. Either sentient beings or inert things will be classified in the world. From, so and so object will belong to certain group, right? A tree belongs to a group. And that too also, mango tree, etc., etc. Then there is a subspecies, etc. Anyway, so then you will have access, mango tree, that access of a word to that object which is recognized in terms of a group. So this is called Shabda Pravritti Nimitta. Nimitta means that condition, those are the conditions, or these are the conditions for recognition. That way, that's better. Nimitta means a condition for recognition. If a condition for recognition is there, immediately access of the word will be there. That Shabda Pravritti will be there. Anyway, then guṇa. You recognize an object has certain guṇa in terms of color or whatever, height, this, that, dimension, whatever. So you can immediately say, yeah, he's a tall guy. So word tall, right, has access. When the tall, you have uttered a word tall, because you recognize a person which is tall. So that's a guṇa of that person, attribute of the person, quality of the person. And then kriyā, objects, people are doing some kriyā, and you recognize the kriyā. So you tell about the person from the standpoint of kriyā, driver, cook, etc., gardener, all. So, the words always have excess. Verbal functions are possible when either of these 5 conditions are there. That's what it is. And then finally, sambandha, 5th one, connection. The so and so person, has connection, and that you recognize that connection. Oh, he's a son of so and so. So, son, S-O-N, that word definitely indicates a sambandha which you have recognized about the person, about the object, etc. So, therefore, these 5-fold conditions for recognition of an object are there, and therefore, and if you recognize, then you will use a particular word, right? So, this is how words have access. Words can reveal directly those objects, but if a given thing doesn't have any of these 5 conditions, then you will not be able to recognize. Then you cannot use a word directly to reveal that object. And that is this Atma. Atma does not, for Atma there is no conventional word. Conventions, name Atma has been given. And we recognize an object in terms of a convention. You cannot recognize an Atma as an object. Very first thing is, you cannot recognize Atma as an object. And therefore there is no question of a convention at all. There is no question of a jāti because it is not born. Anything which is born has a jāti. If it is not born, not created, then they cannot have a jāti. And therefore that is also not possible. Then guṇa also is not possible because it is free from all attributes. And therefore you cannot recognize Atma in terms of guṇa because it doesn't have a guṇa. And then kriyā. Well, Atma is nishkriya. It is all pervading thing, and then it doesn't have any kriyā. Kriyā means a motion. Motion is possible which is limited. Which is limited, and that limited thing can have any kind of a motion. And therefore this is kriyā also is not possible, like a space. Space doesn't have any kriyā. Anything within the space which is limited has a kriyā, has a motion. Anyway, so kriyā is not possible. Therefore you don't recognize Atma in terms of kriyā. Nimitta is not there for using the word. And finally sambandha, it doesn't have any sambandha because there is no other thing at all other than Atma. Therefore basically, well, definitely, therefore this is Shabda Pravritti will not be there. We cannot talk about Atma. Vidhi-mukha, directly we cannot reveal because no word can reveal Atma in terms of jāti, in terms of guṇa, in terms of this. No. And therefore sarva shabda pravritti nimitta śūnyavāda. Śūnyavāda, apavāda. Basically there is no absent. Pravritti nimitta itself is not there, by which you recognize Atma in terms of jāti, guṇa, etc. And therefore sarva shabda pravritti nimitta śūnyavāda. You cannot use any word which reveals directly vidhi-mukha. And therefore, tasya means this Fourth Pādasya, Turīyasya, shabda anabhideyatvam. And therefore, it cannot be described through the words. Turīya cannot be described. Iti. Since this is so, iti hetoho, vishesha pratishedhenaiva, pratishedhena eva, by way of negating visheshas, by way of negating all these attributes, etc. Well, and what are the attributes? Well, you always say yourself in terms of attributes only. Yeah, I am a waker right now. I was a deep sleeper. I slept very well. So all these are visheshas. You describe Atma in terms of vishesha. But definitely it is free from any visheshas. So by way of negating all these visheshas, you Turiyam nirdidikshati shruti. Shruti basically intends to convey, intends to reveal Turīya, the fourth Pāda, by way of negation. Negation what? Negating all these visheshas. Why should you negate, etc.? That's what we are going to see. Anyway, so this is regarding that. And then further it is, so now visheshas are negated, waker, etc. Negated here. 3 padas are negated, 3 padas are visheshas. So na bahishpragnam, negation. Na antapragnam, negation. Na prajnanaganam, negation. Therefore, because Visheshas are not there, and Visheshas are there, definitely we can describe. And therefore, well, if you are really waker, right, Vishishta. If Atma is a Vishishta, a substantive, enjoying the qualities of dream consciousness, waker consciousness, etc., sleep consciousness, then there is no question of negation possible. If Atma is Vishishta, Atma is a substantive, and all this, all these three states, three padas, are the Vishesha of that, then no way negation is possible, because Atma is Vishishta. And therefore, Vishishta, being a Vishishta, Visheshana it possesses in terms of a waker, deep sleeper, etc., then no negation is possible. But the very fact that they are negated, well, shows that these Visheshas do not belong to the Atma. So Turīya is basically revealing Atma by way of negation. And then the second question arises is, if Atma is free from the attributes, Visheshas, then what is the need of negation? Why should you negate Visheshas? Because Atma is free. Could you follow? If Atma is Vishishta, then no negation possible, because Atma is Vishishta. Like this thing is black, and if I say, well, this pen is not black. How, Swamiji, don't you see that? It's a black pen. Pen is a substantive. Black is a attribute, Vishesha. Therefore, this pen is a Vishishta. Vishishta, qualified. What is the quality? Black color. If it is there, then now if I say the black pen is not black, that's not possible. So if Atma is all Vishishta, then no negation possible. But seventh mantra negates Visheshas, Vaker, etc. Okay, that is one. Second thing is, Miss Atma may be free from all the Visheshas. That's how their negation is are done. Okay, but if Atma is free from Vishesha, why should you negate? Why should you negate Visheshas? Because Atma is free. That's the second question. And then we say, well, all the Visheshas are not independent of Atma. So-called Vishesha, Vaker, Dreamer, etc. All the Visheshas are not independent of Atma. Vaker, Dreamer, Sleeper, etc. They are not independent of the Atma, and that being so, if they are not independent of Atma, well, one commits oneself of taking not as Atma but with the Vaker. That is how it is. Like the pot is basically not independently existing of the clay. Person just takes instead of it is, even though it is a clay as a reality, still person takes it as a pot. So when anything is not independent of a given thing, then mistake is possible that instead of a one, you take another. And therefore, basically, if Atma, if all this Vaker, Dreamer, Deep Sleeper are not independent of the Atma, then definitely the mistake is possible. And so, if mistake is there, it is necessary to negate. If Atma is Vishishta, it cannot be negated. If Atma is free from the attributes, you need not negate Visheshas. But if the Visheshas are not independent of the Atma, and Atma is free from the Visheshas, in that case, one commits a mistake of taking Atma as a Vishishta, or taking Vishesha as Atma, Vaker, Dreamer, etc., only as Atma, then it's a mistake. And when there is a mistake, where there is an error, there is a negation. Negation possible. So that's how. Vishesha pratishedhena eva, Bhashakara says, Vishesha pratishedhena eva turiyam nirdiikshati shrutihi. Shruti does this. Shruti intends to reveal Turīya by negating the Visheshas. Then does the Atma become shunyam if all the Visheshas are negated? Because Bhashakara says shunyam eva hi tarhi tat. Then that will be shunyam only. Means, does the Atma become shunyam? if all the Visheshas are negated? Well, see, what happens is, if it is not an object, okay, fine. Means it doesn't have any group, species, fine. It doesn't have any attributes, fine. It has no sambandha, no connection. It is free from actions. Well, ultimately, then basically there is it will become a zero, because it doesn't belong to any species. It is not an object. It doesn't have any species, and it doesn't have any attributes. It doesn't have any action, no kriya also. Then definitely it is a zero. According to Buddhas, anything which is property free, vishesha free, attribute free, is non-existent. And so, well, like Vandhyaputra. What is the Vishesha of a Vandhyaputra? What is a Vandhyaputra? A son of a barren woman. What are Vishesha? No Visheshas. Therefore, Vandhyaputra is what? Zero. Shashashunga dhanurdharaha, etc., etc. Khapushpakruta shekharaha, etah eshaha Vandhyasuto jāti, etc., etc. You say this Vandhyasuta is going. Okay. Very nice. What are his description? What are his attributes by which you will describe? Well, Khapushpakruta Shekhara. Well, he has put a flower on his head. Khapushpakruta Shekhara. Khapush. And oh, flower. Which flower? Khapushpa. The flower which has been plucked from the space. That flower he is putting on his head. Very good. Shashashunga Dhanurdhara. And he is going, well, along with his bow, like a Rama. And the bow is made up of what? Shashashunga. Bow is made up of the horn of a rabbit. Hey, what are you talking? Rabbit horn? Rabbit has a horn? So all description, you cannot do such kind of a description, because Vandhyaputra is basically free from all attributes. If Vandhyaputra is free from attributes, that Vandhyaputra is existing, Brahman, or Vandhyaputra is Shunyam. Shunyam. So Buddhas say, you say Atma is free from any birth and death, and it doesn't have any jāti, it doesn't have any kriyā, it doesn't have any kind of attributes, then such a thing is a zero. And what is the property of zero? Zero. That's how they say. Anything which is free from any property is zero. Why? Does zero has any property? No. Therefore, anything which is property free is zero. And therefore, zero has some property. Okay. Between one zero and another zero, what is the difference? The difference will be in terms of properties, attributes, some quality. You make a change between, you show a difference between you and me. In terms of what? Attributes. Male, female, sannyasi, grihastha, this, that, etc. Or some appearance. All of properties. If anything which is totally free from property, it is shunya. And that is how we are not able to distinguish one zero and the other zero. Between one abhava and another abhava. What is the difference between absent cow and absent hog? What is the difference? No difference. Means no qualities. Means what? Absent, shunyam, abhava. And therefore, presence of cow, presence of pot makes a difference. Absence of a pot and absence of a cow. Between these two, absence of pot, absence of cow, show the difference. No. Because the thing which shows the difference is an attribute. That's not there. Therefore, Atma is shunya. Buddha says. That's how Bhashyakara says. Shunyameva tarhi tat. Therefore, Bhashyakara says, mithya vikalpasya nirnimittatva anupapattehe. So, we have fortunately a reality word called mithya. All the visheshas for Atma, Bahishprajna, Antah-prajna, Prajnana Ghana, etc., which has been discussed in three Padas, are taken as a Atma Visheshas. They are superimposed on the Atma, as we have not yet discovered the Turīya Atma, Fourth Pāda. And if Visheshas are superimposed upon Atma, Atma becomes, well, adhiṣṭhāna, basis for that, naturally. So therefore, that is what is referred by the word this mithya vikalpasya, mithya visheshasya, all these three vikalpas, the waking consciousness, dream consciousness, sleep consciousness, which is called prajnana ghanam, etc. So all this, they are referred here as a mithya vikalpa. Mithya means it is neither satyam nor tucham, nor shunyam, basically. Mithya is a reality word for something, the existence which cannot be dismissed totally, nor can it be established totally, nor can be taken as a real, self-existing. So mithya vikalpa. And anything which is mithya vikalpa, well, without adhiṣṭhāna, such kind of a superimposition is not possible. So basically, any superimposition here implies a adhiṣṭhānam. There is no mithya without satyam as adhiṣṭhānam, and where mithya is, in that place itself there is a satyam, and therefore with a locus only possible, then only you superimpose a snake. So locus must be there, and that is rope, etc. And therefore there is no shunyam, there is adhiṣṭhāna. So similarly, Atma is there, so you can superimpose anything upon Atma. You can imagine anything, even your imagination. Let's forget about this waking, etc., which has certain empirical reality. Even what you imagine has adhiṣṭhāna. What is adhiṣṭhāna? Where do you imagine all this? In my mind. Mind is there or not? That's it. Oh, but then mind itself is superimposed on you. Then that is sadadhiṣṭhāna. Sakshi is there or not? Huh? Sakshi is superimposed. Okay, then there must be some other Sakshi. Yeah. So you can say Sakshi also is superimposed. Consciousness is superimposed. Consciousness is superimposed upon consciousness, you have to say. Nothing else. So there is sadadhiṣṭhāna. So definitely, even if you, in your own projections, something is there, your buddhi is there. Anyway, so basically all these are kalpitam, adhyāropa, etc. And not only, and how can you say they are kalpitam? They are negating each other. We are not doing anything. They are negating each other. In the waking state, there is no dream or sleep. In dream, there is no waking and sleep. In sleep, there is no dream and waking. And so this proves none of them is Atma. And therefore, they are all variable, and they are superimposed upon Atma. And therefore, Atma is adhiṣṭhāna, is present in all the three. There is no shunyam, there is no abhava. Atma is a sadadhiṣṭhāna. Okay. Then Bhashyakara says, Nahi rajata sarpa purusha mrigatrushnikādi vikalpāha shuktika rajju sthānu usharādi vyatirekena avastvāspadaha shakyaha kalpayitum. He gives example. Look at that, these are the examples we are giving. In that something is superimposed. When you say something is superimposed, then you will have to add immediately superimposed upon something, on something, and that thing is there. Therefore, and then you have to negate. Being a superimposition, you negate. That's exactly the thing here. When these are negated, waker, deep sleeper, dreamer, etc., all are negated. Well, then we should understand that they are superimposed, and they are superimposed on adhiṣṭhānam, from which it is non-separate. These three cannot be proven existent, independent of the Atma. And since they are non-separate, one can commit a mistake of taking Atma as the real. You take the waker, etc., as a real. The very attribute you take it as a real, and therefore they should be negated and should be proven that Atma means you are free from all attributes, etc. And for that, example has been given. So each of these examples show how each superimposition has a certain quality. And this is within the realm of a samsara, all these superimpositions. First is what? Rajat. Accordingly, that's a superimposition. So Vikalpaha. Vikalpaha means a superimposition. Adhyāropa. So Rajata, Sarpa, Purusha, Mriga, Trushnikādi. Right? Four Adhyāropas. Vikalpaha. 4 Adhyāropas. On what? Shuktika, Rajju, Sthānu, Ushara. right? Usharadi vyatirekena. Without this adhiṣṭhānam, they cannot exist, etc., etc. That we'll see. So, first example is a rajata, mother of, the silver. Silver on what? Shuktika, mother of pearl, shell, seashell. So, you see a silver lying there, and definitely there is a thirst for that piece of silver which is born in you. Trishna is there. So that is indicating samsara. You see superimposition, that's not an issue. That what is the issue is Adhyāropa creates a samsara. What is the samsara? That is being said by a specific example. Yeah. And what is the samsara here? Trishna. Seeing it as a silver coin shining in the sunlight, right, on the seashore, and it's so shining so well, so you take it as a silver. This Adhyāropa, this much is not a samsara. Now samsara, Trishna, there is a thirst for that, and you will pick up, etc. This is one. Second example, sarpa. On what? Accordingly, you have to see kramena, respectively, rajju, right? This vikalpa is there on this aspada. Aspada means vikalpa means adhyāropa. Aspada means adhiṣṭhāna. Let me tell you first. Aspada means adhiṣṭhāna, vikalpa means adhyāropa. So these are vikalpas, rajju, sarpa, etc. And what are adhiṣṭhāna? Shuktika, rajju, sthāna, ushara, etc. Anyway, so the second is a snake. And adhiṣṭhānam is what? Aspada is what? A rajju. What is the samsara here? Fear, naturally. So this is how it is. So we also have, you can take it. Fear of death, samsara, naturally. Then there must be some adhyāropa, right? What is the source of fear there? Snake. What is the source of fear here, which is adhyāropa? Body. Body is subject to death. Yeah. That is, you need not have to study for that. That you experience every day by obituary notes and by seeing in the world that the body dies. Everyone knows. Yeah. But you don't know adhiṣṭhāna. Yeah. What is adhiṣṭhāna? Atma is immortal, free from birth and death. That you don't know. So you do adhyāropa on Atma. And why this adhyāropa? But because body doesn't have any independent existence apart from Atma. And therefore, and its attribute is mortality. It's mortal. In fact, you, the adhiṣṭhānam, is immortal, but you don't understand it. So you take yourself to be immortal. The attribute of the Adhyāropa, you superimpose upon. Because the very, this body itself is superimposed upon the Atma. Therefore, attribute of the body also is superimposed upon the Atma. And you take yourself to be immortal being. And that creates what? Fear, samsara. So that is how it is to be connected. How Bhashyakara is interested that Adhyāropa, adhiṣṭhāna, etc. Adhyāropa being always, it is non-separate from the adhiṣṭhāna, but adhiṣṭhāna is not known. Adhiṣṭhāna, ajñānam leads to Adhyāropa is taken as a real, which is mithya, etc. is taken as a real. Anyway, so this is the second example. Third is what? Is sthāna. Sthāna is taken for what? Purusha. Just, he's going in a forest and he feels that he has lost the way of his village. He has forgotten his, and from a distance he see, actually it's a stump of a tree, and it's white in color, and he sees from quite a distance, and he thinks that there is some person with a white shirt pant, etc. And he was very happy because he was already confused. It's the evening time, and he might have lost the path to his village. So he thought this person would help me, right? That's a samsara. Hey, samsara, because why samsara? Because as he approaches and ultimately finds it is a sthāna, then what will happen? So, or else, there could be another something also. What is another thing? Is seeing a person from a distance right? Even though it's Thanu, but he sees, he does a Adhyāropa of a Purusha on the person, and he feels that he may be a dacoit. He's standing there in order to loot me, and therefore there will be Bhaya also. So when adhiṣṭhānam is, ajñānam is there, you superimpose something else upon there and will create samsara. So this is, because, why I say all this, we may definitely, you may not question, but someone will question. Somebody, one example is enough. Why should he give 4 examples? Yeah, that's how I'm saying. Varieties of what you call samsara can arise. Either a fear, either a despair, or either either a lobha, etc. Either that trishna can arise. All these things can happen. Okay, the 4th, mruga tushnika. Adipadat, there are, you can add some more, okay? Adipadat, you can add more. Adi means etc. Mruga tushnika, mirage water. That also causes what? Thirst, naturally. Or there is a thirst and you are thinking that this ushara, that dry sand, just sand doesn't create, honestly, that image of a water kind of a thing. It's a dry sand and there must be heat. That heat somehow creates that. So you think this mirage water will quench your thirst, and it's a mistake of seeing this water where it is not. Anyway, and that mistake is will not be possible in the absence of a desert heat, etc. Usharadi vyatirekena avastvāspadaha kalpayitum na shakyah. So all this, if adhiṣṭhānam is not there, if desert itself is not there, then where is the question of a mirage water? If rope is not there, where is the question of a snake? And if shell silver is, the shell is not there, where is the question of a silver? So point is, when we are negating that there is no silver, then our intention is basically to indicate the adhiṣṭhānam. Without adhiṣṭhānam, these things are not possible at all. Kalpayitum na shakyah, Bhashyakara says. You cannot even experience this all this Adhyāropa without adhiṣṭhānam. Anyway, and therefore we want to indicate that when we are negating, all vikalpas, like Atma is not a waker, Atma is not a deep sleeper, Atma is not a dreamer, then if all visheshas are negated, attributes are negated, therefore there is shunyam. Buddha says, we say, these are all Adhyāropas, and Adhyāropas cannot be there. You cannot experience any Adhyāropa unless adhiṣṭhānam is there, and therefore adhiṣṭhānam must be there. And therefore all this, when we are negating, they are Adhyāropas, we are negating all the visheshas, vikalpas, then there is adhiṣṭhānam. We want to indicate, reveal that adhiṣṭhānam by negation. When someone tells me that there is no water there, then definitely wants to say that there is adhiṣṭhānam called desert, etc. Anyway, so this is how niṣedha-mukhena, when it is negated here, not to indicate ultimately reveal that Atma is shunyam, but to reveal that all these we are negating because they are errors. Atma is taken as a waker. Who doesn't take? Entire humanity takes. I am a waker. That's a reality of me. Who doesn't take it that way? Entire humanity, except a few of us. That this is just a, this is my status for few hours of being a waker. And that will be pushed away. I am not pushing away anything because I am adhiṣṭhāna. I don't push away anything. It has been pushed away by another Adhyāropa. That is a dream. That is pushed away by deep sleep. That is again pushed away by the waking. So this is going on. They negate each other. Anyway, that itself shows it is mithya. Right? Negation itself shows it is mithya. Anyway, so point is, it is none of these vikalpas, this Adhyāropa, is possible without the adhiṣṭhānam. Shell, rope, stump, or our desert, etc. Without vastu, it is not possible for you to superimpose. And therefore this is an answer to the Buddha's position of shunyam. Free from attributes, shunyam. No. Free from attributes is just adhiṣṭhāna. Without attributes is there. Yeah, that is what it is. And but if adhiṣṭhāna is free from all attributes, why should you negate? Because you take yourself to be vishishta, qualified. So, yeah, that's the thing. I am subject to birth and death, qualified. I am a human being, qualified. I am angry, qualified. I am a seer, hearer. All. I am hungry, I am thirsty. All. So it has to be negated. I is common, invariable factor. What is variable is all Adhyāropa. You are equating. Equating. I free from attributes is equated with some Adhyāropa. Actually, all these Adhyāropas are negated. So without vastu, that is how it is. Snake is. Look at that. Snake is, silver is, or what is the third one? That human being is, etc. in that forest. Or water is, that is itself indicates that is belongs to adhiṣṭhāna. So there is no shunyam. Is buddhi is there. Whenever you are referring to anything, snake is, silver is, that is buddhi is there because adhiṣṭhāna is there. Because that is-ness belongs to adhiṣṭhāna. And if is-ness is there of adhiṣṭhāna, where is tucham, where is shunyam? Is-ness belongs to rope, etc. So when we say the words, basically, shabda pravrutti, sarva shabda pravrutti nimitta shunyatvat, words do not have any access to Atma. It does not mean Atma is shunyam. Atma being the adhiṣṭhānam for all, called waker consciousness, dream consciousness, sleep consciousness. And that is Shruti wants to reveal it, and that's how all these Adhyāropas have been negated. One has already committed a mistake against oneself. Everyone who is born in this world has already committed a mistake against oneself, which is the cause for samsara. Now further, evam tarhi pranadi sarva vikalpa aspadatvat turiyasya shabdavachyatvam na pratishedaihi pratyayatvam udakadi adharadehe iva ghatadehe na pranadi vikalpasya asatvat shuktikadishu iva rajatadehe. It's a purvapaksha actually, even though it is not beginning with nanu etc., but it is a purvapaksha. And he raises a technical question here now. It's a Mandukya has this, here the questions also are quite technical. That's how Mandukya eva alam. Many things which are discussed here are not ordinary doubts, honestly. They are not ordinary doubts. They are very serious doubts. Those doubts are created by the people who are really thinkers. And that's how the doubts itself carry a lot of weight. And this particular doubt is raised here based on that our five conditions which are there for a word to function, for a word, right? We use this word, access of the word. The accessibility of the word is there when an object has this one or two or three or four or five conditions. And those conditions you recognize and then accordingly use the word. You see a kriya in an object and you immediately use. You see a person driving, kriya. You see that, you recognize it. You immediately use a word. Word has access. Which word? Driver. So the word by the word driver has revealed an object doing a particular kriya directly. Could you follow? It is directly. There is no negation here. Driver. What is the negation in driving? Driver. When you use the word driver, revealing an object who is doing a function. What is negation? It's a direct vidhi-mukha. So basically, these 5 conditions mentioned, we've already talked about, for verbal function, they are there. Anyway, actually, Bhashyakara has not mentioned jāti, guṇa, kriyā, etc. The Bhashyakara is going to mention later, but since we know, we discussed. Anyway, and among these 5 conditions, he is raising a Purvapaksha based on one of the condition called sambandha. Jāti, guṇa, kriyā, sambandha. Rūḍhi generally is not. Rūḍhi means by convention some name is given. So that we are not bothering. But out of this jāti, guṇa, kriyā, sambandha, one particular, with respect to one condition called sambandha, which can bring a accessibility of the word, or by which a function of the words is possible, shabda pravrutti. So that regarding that sambandha, he is raising a question. And naturally, you will feel that sambandha means what? Well, sambandha between waker and Atma. Sambandha between sleeper and Atma. Sambandha between deep sleeper and Atma. Naturally, we are negating those vikalpas only. So, when we are negating these vikalpas, definitely there is a connection between them. So, that is being, because you say some visheshas are there, and Atma, which is nirvishesha, adhiṣṭhāna, this adhyāropa, etc. you say. So, he has a doubt. It looks like a simple doubt, but it will resolve certain thing, which I will tell you. Suppose, so on a table there is a particular gadget, like a this mobile is there, and I want a person. I am sitting somewhere else, and I want a person to bring that mobile, and I use the name of the gadget, that's mobile. And this person, well, suppose, do not understand, because this, Swamiji, that is not possible. But just take it, for example, because newer and newer gadgets keep coming, and therefore, basically, person may not be knowing all the gadgets. So anyway, so instead of using the word mobile, suppose, thinking that person may not know the mobile, so instead of using the word mobile, I say, well, bring that which is over the table or which is on the table. So I have revealed an object through relationship. Please understand. If I say mobile, bring that mobile, well, there is no problem. I am not revealing any sambandha here. I am just saying about an object. Let's say by certain attributes, mobile can be recognized. That mobile means this kind of features, etc. I am not saying. I am saying bring that object, bring that gadget which is on the table. Right? There I have revealed an object through the relationship. What is the relationship? An object which is on the table. Object on the table means table is a adhara, right, basis, and object is a adhyā, which is a supported. And what is the basis for that? Is a table. Anyway, so I have revealed an object through adhāra-adhyaya sambandha. So table is a support or basis, and gadget is supported. And I have revealed that this particular object through a relationship of this. Like that, there are other things also. I will tell you one more. Many things you reveal by karya karana sambandha. So if sambandha is there, relationship is there, then that also becomes a shabda pravrutti nimitta. So shabda pravrutti nimittam is there, and nimittam is that condition called relationship is there, by which you are revealing an object. So words can describe through that. Now Purvapakshi says, you say that Atma is the Turīya is a adhiṣṭhānam. Adhiṣṭhānam for what? Adhiṣṭhānam for Pādatraya, which has been discussed in the three Padas. Turīya you are revealing it as a adhiṣṭhānam of this three Pada. And so Turīya, the adhiṣṭhānam and this Pādatraya, which are negated of course, have a relationship. Right? And what is that relationship? Adhiṣṭhāna, Adhyāropa, Adhyasa, either. And that is basically Adhāra-Adheya sambandha. Turīya is a Adhāra. Because you said, I remember you said, in a waking also Atma is there. In a dream also Atma is there. In a deep sleep also Atma is there. So waker is there, Atma is there. Deep sleeper is there, Atma is there. Dreamer is there, Atma is there. Fine. So Atma is basically the basis for all these three. So you said that's a basis adhiṣṭhānam, and these three are Adhyāropa, that's how you are negating. You negate definitely proves that it is Adhyāropa. Then I would feel it is Adhāra-Adheya sambandha. Atma is Adhara for all these three. These three are supported, Adheya. And and then definitely there is a sambandha between them naturally. Supported, supporter relationship, Adheya, Adhara sambandha. If that sambandha is there, Shabda Pravritti Nimitta is there. Because one of the nimitta, one of the condition for the accessibility of the word is a sambandha. And therefore, it is, Atma is basically Shabdavachyam. Atma is basically Shabdavachyam. Means through words, you can, Vachyam means a direct meaning. Through words, you can directly reveal. You said Sarva Shabda Pravritti Nimitta Shunyatva. So Atma doesn't have any kriyā, doesn't have any sambandha, doesn't have any attributes, doesn't have any species, jāti. Atma is not an object. Means Atma cannot be recognized by any of these conditions, and therefore there is no word, does not have any accessibility, and therefore Atma should be revealed in an indirect way by negating what Atma is not, rather than saying what Atma is. Yeah. So, but we feel we can reveal directly. Of course, jāti is not there. Good. Guṇa is not there. Attribute is not there. Good. Kriyā is not there. Good. But sambandha is there. And therefore, if sambandha is there, Atma should be revealed like that. That Atma is a Adhāra of this, of a waker. Atma is a Adhāra, basis for the dreamer. Atma is a Adhāra of, that way you can reveal Atma as Adhāra. So through connection, through relationship with all these three Pada. So therefore Shabda Vachittam, Shabda Abhideyatvam is there. You said no, Vishesha Pratishedhenaiva. Well, all this Vishesha, Pratisheda, Niṣedha means they are negated. All the Visheshas are negated. Well, Shruti wants to reveal Turiyam Nirdidikshati. Shruti has an intention to reveal Atma through negation of all these Visheshas. Need not be. There is a relationship between the Visheshas and Atma. Whatever you say this is Adhyāropa and this is adhiṣṭhānam. I would call Adhāra-Adheya sambandha. What's wrong? So this is a little technical question. So you said Tasya Shabda Anabhideyatvat, etc. Well, we say Shabda Abhideya. Abhideya means Abhidhana means a word. Abhideya means the meaning of the word, the object which is revealed is called Abhideya. So you said Tasya, Turiyasya, Shabda Anabhideyatvat. It cannot be revealed. Turīya cannot be revealed by any word because it doesn't have any of the five conditions. No, one of the conditions is there. Nimittam asti. There is a nimitta, there is a condition. Which condition? Sambandha. So this is Purvaksha. Evam tarhi. So basically, he gives that, we already gave that example and etc. From that he has understood like this, Adhāra-Adheya, etc. And what he says, Pranadi, evam tarhi, means if this is so, means if you have given this example of adhiṣṭhāna, Adhyāropa, etc., right? Rajju, what is said, Rajju, Sarpa, Purusha, Mruga, Trishnikadi, Vikalpaha, Shuktika, Rajju, Sthanu, Usharadi, Vyatirekena, etc., etc., Aspadaha, you said, so from there he has established a relationship. Adhyāropa, adhiṣṭhāna means some connection, and that connection is called adhyāropa, supported, supporter. So he says, evam tarhi, if this is so what you say, O Bhashyakara, then pranadi sarva vikalpa aspadatvat turiyasya. Turiyam is the adhara and aspada. Aspada means adhiṣṭhāna, basically, which is, in his language, it is adhara. Of what? Pranadi sarva. Look at that. Pranadi sarva. From where Swamiji prana has come? We say three states, deep sleeper, etc. Where is the question of prana? You have not mentioned that this is a vishesha to be negated, which is adhyāropa. No, prana means Ishvara, prajna. Long back we discussed. Prana means, right? We discussed long, and pranabandhanam hi somya manaha and all that. In a jiva is connected, in a deep sleep state he gets resolved, gets connected into prana. And then we said, no, prana means Ishvara. The prajna resolves into Ishvara, etc. That's how we discussed in a third pada. So, pranadi sarva vikalpa aspadatva turiyasya. Turiya is a vikalpa for, Turiya is a aspada, adhiṣṭhānam for prajna, Ishvara. Also adhiṣṭhānam for Hiranyagarbha, Taijasa, we know, we have discussed that. And Vishwa and Virat, etc. So, pranadi sarva vikalpa padatraya they are the adheya, and Turiya is a adhara for that. Adhiṣṭhāna means adhara here. And that is why in the 14th chapter, now means Ishvara is a adheya and Turiya, you are adhara. This is what it is actually. And in the 14th chapter, this is very beautifully said, because in 14th chapter Bhagavad Gita it said, Brahmano hi pratisthāham. Aham pratishtha. So, Brahmano hi pratishtha. I am the pratishtha of a Brahmana, Brahmaji. So, well, I am the pratishtha of the, means I am adhiṣṭhānam of the Brahmaji. And Shankaracharya gives three explanations there. And the third meaning he says, Saguna Ishvarasya adhiṣṭhānam. So, Brahmana means of Brahmaji, I am adhiṣṭhānam, means of Saguna Ishvara, I am the adhiṣṭhānam. So, prana means Ishvara, Saguna Ishvara, I am the adhiṣṭhānam. Nirgunam Brahma is adhiṣṭhānam for. So, Vishesha is adhiṣṭhānam, Nirvishesha is adhiṣṭhānam for Vishesha. That is, Visheshas are negated. So, Sarva Vikalpa Aspadatva, Turiyasya Shabdavachyatvam. So, therefore, it can be revealed, Turiya can be revealed vidhi-mukhena, well, and Turiya can be revealed as what? Adhiṣṭhānam, basis for all. For all means what? For all six. Vishwa Virat, first Pāda. Taijasa Hiranyagarbha, second Pāda. Prajna Ishvara. So Ishvara can be revealed directly. You need not. This seventh mantra we don't like. Nanta pragnam, na bhaishpragnam, na. Need not. Why should you say so much negation? You can reveal vidhi-mukha. Yeah. Shabda pravritti is there. You can recognize Atma as what? Turīya is what? Adhiṣṭhāna. A very adhara for all these things which are there in three padas. Iti hetu pratishedahi pratyayatvam. Well, pratishedahi pratyayatvam. So therefore, pratyayatvam. So, anyway, this part I think I will take it a little later in next week. Prati plus e dhatu is there. From there we make pratyeti, means to reveal. And if you make a causal, it is pratyayati. Like, you know, pathati, to study. Pathayati, to cause to study, means to teach. Same way, so pratyeti means to reveal. Pratyayati, to cause to reveal, means it is basically to teach. So pratishedaihi pratyayatvam na, need not be. And tvam, of course, pratyayatvam. But pratyayah means basically a teaching. Well, tvam means ness. So this teachability or teaching means a status of being taught. What? Atma. How? Well, patishedaihi na. By negation, one has to teach Atma. It is not so. That's what he wants to convey. Means vidhi-mukha. Directly you can reveal. Because Shabda Pravritti Nimitta called sambandha is there. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.